here. All right, and that automatically goes to the top. Okay, cool. All right, hello and welcome to Fresno City Toastmasters. This is your incoming president, Joey Myers, and we are here today. We just went over the mission statement. I'll say that again since we just pushed record. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. And I always like to underline the supportive and positive learning experience here at Toastmasters. So I wanted to go over a few club business agenda items that we are currently working on, and I'll let our other exec board chime in if they need to. We are currently on the move to a new live location that will be on Cedar and Shields at the library over there. And we will be, and I'm going to send out an email with a lot of this, but we will need to all get those that are going to at least meet live, get library cards, which are free. They don't cost anything. And we have all hookups and everything, right? We have all the Wi-Fi, we have everything over at that location. So we will start that next week, will be the first meeting where we will be meeting there live. I will be able to be there, I think, next week. And then there's going to be a couple of weeks there. My wife's got to go back to work. We got two young kiddos at home, so I got to be there to watch them. So I won't be able to be there actual live until probably we get back to school, or if the wife by some miracle has Tuesday off, then I can get over there. But that's what's going on a current move to a live location. Anything else, Chanel, that you can think of, or Denny, or Heather? Anything new other than that? Those are kind of the big things.
And that we're doing officer installations today, I guess, which I forgot to put on the agenda. Officer
installations today, and that's why Mr. Michael's here. And we can probably get into that. Should we just do that? Go into that right now? Are you ready, Michael? Okay. We have enough people to make that official. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 of his board members here.
Who is absent?
Sarah is the only one that's not. Or should we wait on it?
No, you're fine. I go through so I can highlight them and make sure that I know who's absent.
Okay. All right, so I will turn the table over to Michael so that he can do our officer installations.
Thank you so much. If it is possible, could you turn your camera around to show the entire audience today?
We got the camera that's in that bottom right corner there. That's just Chanel and myself.
Oh, okay. So it's just you and Chanel there today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. If everyone who has been an officer this past year could please stand. I would first like to thank you all for what you have done to help your club in this past year. I know it's still a rough challenge that we've been dealing with, but I want to thank you for all your work and your dedication to your club. You are discharged from all further duties and responsibilities as officers of Fresno City Toastmasters. Thank you so much for what you've done.
Thank you. Thank you.
You may be seated. I am here to install the officers of Fresno City Toastmasters and to prepare them for the challenges that lie ahead. Their collective challenge is to make this club strong, dedicated to helping people from all walks of life to speak in an effective manner, listen with sensitivity, and think creatively. I will ask each officer to hold the gavel, or if you are not in the room with the gavel, you can hold up a pen as a symbol of leadership as I briefly describe the challenges they must meet and the responsibilities they must fulfill. Chanel West, could you please stand?
Yes, sir.
Do you have the gavel?
Yes, sir.
As Sergeant at Arms, you will keep track of the club's physical property, such as the banner, the lectern, the timing device, and other meeting materials. You'll arrive early to prepare the meeting place for members and stay late to stow all of the club's equipment. You're also in charge of the meeting place itself, obtaining a new space when necessary, and maintaining contact with the people who allow you to use the space for your club's meetings. The Sergeant at Arms also has a role to play during business meetings, speech contests, and other special club events. For example, the Sergeant at Arms escorts potential new members outside of the club's meeting place while the members vote on admitting them to the club. The Sergeant at Arms stands at the door while contestants compete in speech contests to ensure that the speaker is not interrupted by latecomers. Will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
Yes, I will.
While you're standing, I will go ahead and conduct the Vice President of Education moment as well. As Vice President of Education, you schedule members' speeches, verify the completion of projects, and serve as a resource for questions about the education program, speech contests, and your club mentor program. You are an important source of Toastmasters knowledge for club members, and it is your job to become familiar with all aspects of the Toastmasters education program. Will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
Yes, I will.
Okay, you may be seated. Our next person will be Joey. Joey, we're gonna do treasurer now, and then we'll do president once we're done with everyone else.
Okay.
As treasurer, you are the club's accountant. You manage the club's bank account, writing checks as approved by the executive committee, and depositing membership dues, payments, and other club revenues. You are also in charge of submitting membership dues payments to world headquarters, accompanied by the names of renewing members, filing necessary tax documents, and keeping timely, accurate, up-to-date financial records for the club. Though the treasurer's duties are usually not the most demanding of all the club leadership positions, the consequences for members can be serious when they are not completed accurately and on time. Will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
Yes, I will.
Okay, you may be seated if you would like. Our secretary. Do you have a pen? You don't need to stand for this part. When it's on Zoom, I'm not so worried about the standing. I'm more inclined for just the pen at the moment. You maintain all club records, manage club files, handle club correspondence, and take minutes at each club and executive committee meeting. You're also in charge of updating and distributing a roster of the current paid membership and keeping the club officer list current for Toastmasters International. Will you perform these duties to the best of your ability? Thank you very much. Vice President, Public Relations. Heather, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You promote the club to the local community and notify the media about the club's existence and the benefits it provides. You promote the club, update web content, and safeguard the Toastmasters brand identity. It is your job to notify the media whenever the club does something newsworthy. As Vice President, Public Relations, you will find yourself writing news releases, creating and distributing flyers, and maintaining the club's presence on the web and in the community. Will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Joey. Toastmaster Joey Myers. Having been elected the president of Fresno City Toastmasters, you are its chief executive officer and are expected to preside at all club meetings and at all regular and special meetings of your executive committee as often as you possibly can. It is your challenge to see that this club enables its members to achieve their educational goals. It is also your challenge to see that your club helps the area, division, district, and Toastmasters International meet their goals. Please accept the gavel as a symbol of your leadership and dedication to office. The gavel is a symbol of the power and authority given to you by the membership of this club. Use it wisely and with restraint. You are a member of your team as well as a leader. A team is more than a collection of people. It is an emotional force rooted in the feelings, thoughts, and actions of all members with the common goal of achievement, sharing, and mutual support. Work with your team members to create a healthy, dynamic club, a club of which everyone is proud. Will you, Joey Myers, as president, accept this challenge and perform your duties to the best of your ability?
Yes, I will.
Thank you very much. If I can have everyone just raise their right hand. It is my pleasure to declare the Toastmasters installed into the offices to which they have been elected. The growth and development of Toastmasters program in Fresno City Toastmasters depends largely upon the actions of this group. On your honor as members of Toastmasters, do you pledge to individually and collectively stand by the club, live with it, and work with it throughout the coming year?
Yes, I will.
Yes.
Thank you very much. You may lower your hands. Who was the president last year?
Chanel West.
Okay. Do you guys by chance have your presidents and immediate past presidents pins available?
I don't think so.
Pins,
Pins?
what does that mean?
No, pins, like lapel pins.
Oh,
Or
I don't
pins?
even know if we have those.
No, I don't even know if we have those, Mike.
Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to do everything we can to help you get your pins. So with this part, basically, when you guys do receive your pins, the goal is to have the president give the immediate past president pin to the immediate past president, and the immediate past president to give the president's pin to the new president.
Got it.
Typically, every club has a set of these, and they just move from person to person. At the same time, there are some clubs who actually get a new pin every year for the officers. That way, for those who are the collectors, they get a pin for every office they've held. And that's an awesome idea. Now, District 33 has created an incentive for all clubs, and that is if all 7 members, all 7 officers are trained in the officer trainings between now and the end of August, your club will receive the pins from the district. That's roughly a $70 value, and that saves the club some money. So my thing is, I encourage you to attend the officer training. I know we had the first one this last Saturday, and I didn't see anyone from your club in attendance. However, trying to view through 10 pages of Zoom people is kind of a challenge. We had like almost 300 people there, I think it was. It does create a little bit of work. The other thing is we're doing a division training, and I will be discussing this with the area directors on Sunday evening, if we want to do this in person or if we want to do this only online. My goal is to do a hybrid. So it'd be in person as well as online for those who can't make the in-person or are still skeptical to come out. It will be Saturday, August 6th, and it will be from 9 a.m. till noon. And I will be sending out emails regularly to remind officers that couldn't attend to do their best to schedule that into their schedule. At this time, I'm going to turn it back over to your club president.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. I don't think any of our members were able to make it this last Saturday, so we'll see if we can do our best to at least get 4 over there on that Saturday, August the 6th. I think before I hand it over to Chanel, can we fill out and get a grammarian word of the day just so we have a little bit more time, especially for the grammarian? Who wants to pick up the word of the day? Denny, Heather? All right, Heather, thank you. Then we have odd counter and timer. Chanel?
I can do the timer.
Okay.
Like this.
All right, perfect, because we got my speech here, so perfect being there.
And
And then,
then Kawani's not here, so we need somebody to take over for table topics.
okay, table topics. So odd counter and table topics.
I can do our counter.
Counter and Danny. Table topics.
I can fill your table topics for you.
Thank you, Michael. Okay. All right, with that, I will pass the baton over to our Toastmaster of the day, and Miss Chanel West. Come up and introduce the theme.
Hello, fellow Toastmasters. Our theme for the day is something a bit more mobile and physical than our themes often are. The theme today is Act It Out. Raise your hand if you've ever played the game charades. I assume that everybody has. If you haven't, I would wonder where you've been living. Act it out. This is something that some of us have experience in. If you've ever been in a play or any sort of musical production, have any of you ever been in a like theater musical production, anything like that? Heather's nodding her head, yes. And some of us have no clue really what that means, acting, and how to engage that. So I'm hoping that for our table topics today, perhaps we can include that theme a little bit and have some fun with it. With that, I would like to pass the podium over virtually to our general evaluator, Jenny Mason, who's going to introduce our evaluation team.
Thank you, Chanel. We have an evaluation team today. We've got 2 speeches that I see, and we're going to go through some different evaluation things. And here's our team. So our grammarian is Heather.
Thank you, Denny. As grammarian, I have selected a word for the day, which I am sharing in the chat box with everybody. And the word is eccentric. I typed in literally the word for the day, and Merriam-Webster had selected this one, which I find kind of funny because, let's be real, a lot of people that are actors are a bit eccentric because they do have to go into that mindset of acting out a different life. And so the definition of eccentric is people and things that deviate from conventional or accepted usage or behavior, especially in odd or whimsical ways. So if you can try and fit that into table topics or any type of conversation today, I will be keeping track of that. And at the end of the meeting, I will let you know if anyone was able to fit it in and how often. And I'll pass it back to Miss Demi Mason.
Thank you, Heather. I'm going to play the role of counter today, so I'm listening carefully to everybody speaking. I'm keeping track of little crutch words that might slip in there. Another member of our evaluation team is our timer, Chanel.
Thank you, Jenny. I'm going to be the timer today, so we will be using the in-person timing apparatus for Mr. Myers' speech. He is going to stay within 5 to 7 minutes.
Say, can we do 8 to 10?
8 to 10.
Can you do that? They'll let you sign at 7 to 9.
I think that's fine since we don't
You guys
have
like the
any
information.
other speeches today.
You'll
So-
know the information.
All right, he's gonna modify it slightly and do an 8 to 10 minute speech. So I will be timing on that. And then when we get to table topics, I'll pull this up so those of you on Zoom can see, and it will turn green at 1 minute, yellow at 1.5 minutes, and red at 2 minutes. Thank you.
Chanel, I think we'll just pass it back to you.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I am excited because Joey is back. As those of us who are members know, he's been quite busy the last few months with baseball season and everything that goes into that, long days of training and practice. He is going to be pulling out a new speech, or a used speech today from his archive that he has given. I personally have heard it though, so I think that it's been a while. The title is Recognize the 3 Early Warning Signs of Weight Gain and How to Fix. Joey has a passionate curiosity for personal physical performance. In the case of this speech, how to lose weight in a healthy way, Joey is a certified personal trainer by the National Academy of Sports Medicine. I actually didn't know that. So everybody, please put your hands together and welcome Joey to the mic for his speech today.
Thank you, Ms. Chanel. Yeah, for some of you, maybe Denny might have heard this before, but this is a speech like I call out of the archive. This was some of the earlier speeches that I gave. I updated this one quite a bit actually, because there was not as much meat on the bone as when I first gave it. So first of all, I have 3 questions and see if you can relate to it. Are you afraid of seeing in the morning and night what the scale will show if you step on the scale? Do you find yourself buying new clothes every year, not because that you want to change your wardrobe, but like a hermit crab, you're growing out of your old ones? And then the last one, have you looked at current self pictures and the first thought that came to your mind was, does the camera really add 10 pounds? Or is that really me? Well, you're not alone, because 3 points, the CDC says the US obesity prevalence was 41.9% from 2017 to March of 2020. Now, obesity-related conditions include heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and certain types of cancers, some of the leading causes of preventable death. And then the last point is the estimated annual medical cost of obesity in the US is nearly $173 billion in 2019 dollars. Medical cost for obese adults is $1,861 higher than the medical cost for healthy weight people. Now, the good news is I'm not here to dampen your spirits if you feel like you find yourself in that category, but I have an action plan that has actually helped me lose about 15 pounds since middle of December. And yes, those 3 questions that I started off with, the afraid of seeing your weight on the scale will show you, those were things that I could answer positively, even though some of you might have seen me back then and said, well, he doesn't really have a weight issue. Well, it seems sometimes with us, we all have a weight issue. Doesn't matter really the body type that we have, but we can be somewhat, somebody sees us as skinny and we have a weight issue. So those three original questions are something that I definitely had thought about. But we're going to go over a little bit of a plan that helped me since the middle of December 2021. The first thing of about half a dozen is you want to get specific. So if you want to lose something like 100 pounds or 50 pounds or 20 pounds, you want to break that into smaller chunks. So if it's 100 pounds, let's focus on losing the first 15 to 20 pounds. And then what we do is we play the 5 whys game. 5 whys, W-H-Y, whys, 5 whys. So if you wanted to lose, if you're 100 pounds overweight, you wanted to lose that, you would ask, well, why do you want to lose that? And typically people will say, well, I just want to look better. Then you'd ask, why do you want to look better? Well, I just get out of breath on walks. Well, why would you want to lose weight because you're getting out of breath on walks? And you might say, well, I feel like I'm getting close to a heart attack, out of breath. My chest feels really tight. So the game is the 5 whys. You just keep asking why until you get to the root cause of that. Because typically when somebody wants to lose a certain amount of weight or look a certain way, it's material or surface area type of thing. So you want to get to the root part of that. And to do that, you play the 5 whys game. And then when you get to the root, you want to write that down and then post it, whether it's for you to see every single day. So it could be on your computer, your refrigerator, your bathroom mirror, anything like that. After getting specific, you want to get measuring. Now, I know it's scary sometimes to step on the scale, but you can use that number as just a number, not so much an emotional trigger of a number. So you can use that number now if you choose that you want to move more or get cardio or get on an actual movement program, or you want to change your nutrition or supplementation or whatever it is, that you can use that number as a reference point of, okay, what did I do yesterday that I gained 2 pounds or I lost 2 pounds? What was it that I did? So use it as just a measuring number. You can also use popular apps that are out there, and I don't want to go in. You can just look on Amazon or Google, and you can look up exercise apps or anything like that. And what I recommend are maybe apps that have to do with body fat percentage. So if you can get a caliper, that's usually a better thing. I'm actually mentoring my brother right now who's doing exactly this, and we've had to switch apps or at least get him a second app to keep the other app accountable, because the other app seemed like it was just all over the place. So you want to make sure that you have maybe a couple points of reference when you're doing that. I like the scale because the scales are really, really hard to for them to be all over the place. They're usually pretty accurate for the most part. You can apples to apples comparison on that. So after you get measuring, you want to get into focused habit. One of my favorite books in the past that I read was, the author was Leo Babauta. So Leo, L-E-O, and Babauta is B-A-B-A-U-T-A. Interesting last name. And his book is called The Power of Less. So when it comes to focuses and trying to change habits, he says, if you use one focus at a time, you're going to be 80% successful on that focus. If you do two focuses at the same time, it drops down to, your success rate drops down to 35%. If you try and do three things at the same time, try and have three focuses or plus focuses, then you have a less than 10% success rate. So the key here is to have one focus, to have one overhaul. If it's just movement, just focus on movement, moving more. If it's nutrition, just focus on nutrition. And in nutrition, we have 3 meals a day for the most part. So you can focus on just breakfast for like a month, or so once you get breakfast after the month, then focus on lunch. And that's a way that you can use the focused habit Leo Babauta talks about in his book. So after you get into a focused habit, you want to get targeted. So you have to figure out what your goal is. Now, a lot of people, when they want to get moving, say, you know what, I'm just going to go on a walk, I'm going to ride the bike, I'm going to run, I'm going to go lift weights. Sometimes the problem is pain, movement with pain. You cannot get more moving unless you address the pain first. So pain, obviously, you want to go to a doctor, you want to go to a physical therapist, somebody who's licensed to be able to help you out, get out of that pain, or at least minimize the pain. Once you go to the doctor, figure out what that is, then you can figure out a game plan that you can use. Some of the things, if it's just a nagging, not so much pain where it's shooting pain or nerve pain or something like that, but it's just, you're just tight. There's a couple different things. Rolfing, R-O-L-F-I-N-G, Rolfing. You can go to rolfing.org, I think, and find a professional in your area. There's MAT specialist, M as in monkey, AT, so that stands for muscular activation technique. You can find a specialist in your area. You can also find a chiropractor, preferably one that is played at a high level. That's my recommendation. You can make the decision on that, but I like chiropractors that have played at least college sports. It doesn't have to be baseball, it be football, something like that. They played at a higher level, so they understand the movement side of things a little bit more than somebody who maybe hasn't and just got the book work. And then recently I've been going to a fascia fit specialist, which is kind of a different thing on stretching. So those are some things to get out of pain, get moving, cardio training. So decide whether that's walking, running, biking, or swimming. And again, these things are one focus at a time. So you pick one of these and go for it. If you're in pain, then we need to address that first. Once you get out of pain or to where you can actually move, then you figure out what it is that you want to do to help you get moving better. You can also get your nutrition under control. Again, another focus. You can do things like Weight Watchers or any of the other meal plans that you see on TV quite a bit. You can do a paleo at-home delivery, which is freshinlean.com, freshinlean.com. So they deliver that food to you. You know it's paleo, which is a type of basically proteins, meats, fish, fowl, and vegetables, maybe beans, depending on the program, the paleo program. So it's a really good program that many of us can really see benefit from. Healthy meal prepping, it's another way where you kind of do it yourself, and crock potting is also pretty good. You can find a lot of really good recipes. You can go paleo crock potting, you can go keto crock potting, and you can just search those and find some pretty good recipes to do that. And those are easy do-it-yourself type of ways to get your nutrition under control. And then my personal favorite, this is what I use since mid-December, is gamified programs for fat loss. Peloton, everybody's heard of, and there's many other programs that you can search, but we got a Peloton exercise bike that I know they have treadmills and they have ellipticals and things like that. So whatever that looks like to you in your research, getting one of those where you have an actual instructor that goes for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever kind of class, the length of time that you want to do, you want to get something that is gamified. Meaning you're going to have an instructor that you're going to like, they play music that you like, they may have a leaderboard of people working out at the same time or worked out in the past that you can go up against. They might have your own personal best that you're racing against, and they just have all kinds of cool different things that keep you motivated and inspired to continue with your training. So once you get targeted, then you want to get frequent. So then we start to remove barriers. One of the barriers for me, I love working out outside. I love running. I love outdoors and nature. But the problem in Fresno is like right now, it's almost 100 degrees. So it only limits the time during the day that you can work out, typically in the morning, super early in the morning. Now it's okay because the daylight's fine. It's bright within 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. But then you have to figure that when the fall comes and the time changes, that it's going to be dark at that time in the morning. Especially if you're female, you're going to be running in the dark at that time of the morning, which might not be safe depending on that part of the town that you're in. And the weather. So if it gets too cold and you know that you're not going to want to run in the cold, if it's too hot, you're not going to want to run in the heat. So you want to remove your barriers. That's why I like the stationary bike, the Peloton system, because it's indoors, it's climate control. We can turn the air on, we have a fan, I can turn it on super high, have a towel with me so I can wipe myself down. And there's two things when you're getting frequent, two different types of training. There's HIIT, which is high intensity interval training, HIIT, versus endurance. So endurance is with oxygen. That's where you can carry on a conversation. At the hardest of endurance, your conversation might come down to a couple of sentences where you can say a couple sentences and you have to breathe a little bit. High intensity interval training gets to the point of where your couple word answers and or your side eye. If somebody you're having or if you're working out with somebody that you'd be just looking at them out of the corner of your eye because you don't want to answer their question because you don't have enough breath to be able to do that. So the benefit of high intensity interval training in studies is that you have what they call an afterburn effect. Afterburn means in the workout, say if I work out, like I had a 20-minute HIIT today, and I was able to burn about 350 calories during the actual workout, the 20 minutes. But what happens in the afterburn effect is you burn another additional calories after that. So even when you're done working out, you continue burning calories as you go on with your day and you're done working out. With endurance, that 350 calories that I burn is only what I'm going to burn within that time period. So it's good to mix those two things, and it's not being eccentric to do that. You can mix, say, what I do is three HIIT workouts per week, and I do one endurance exercise or session per week. So you can do 2 and 2, you can do 1 HIIT and 3 endurance, or you can do all HIIT. I probably wouldn't recommend that because you need some time to recover. But that's a difference between a sprinter versus a marathoner in body fat percentage. A sprinter is going to have a lower body fat percentage, 5 to 7%, versus a marathoner is going to be around 13 to 20%. So the sprints are where we're going to burn a lot of calories, we're going to build a lot of muscle. So after we get frequent, we want to get recovered. So we want to make sure we're getting our sleep, 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. If we're not getting that, then we're making sure we're mixing in at least a nap, 20, 30, maybe an hour nap during the day. 1 day of rest between workout days. You want to make sure, because you're building muscle in recovery, you're not building muscle during the actual workout itself. You're breaking muscle down during the actual workout. Only 1 workout on workout days. Don't do multiple days. And you want to supplement protein. After your workout, you have about a 45-minute window. Liquid IV, which gives you the potassium, the salt, magnesium, some other supplements after you've just sweat through 20, 30-minute workout, vitamin D and zinc. And then lastly, you want to get a buddy. And one of my favorite analogies when you get a buddy is you can do the Alpo dog food challenge, meaning if it's whatever your goal is, we both want to lose 20 pounds. Whoever doesn't lose 20 pounds in a certain amount of time eats a can of Alpo dog food. So it's really good accountability with the partner if you want to do that. So in conclusion, you want to find your new self. If we're going back to those questions previously, you want to not be able to wait to see the scale drop. You be able to get on the scale and you can't wait, not be afraid of it. You want to find yourself buying new clothes because the old ones are loose. And then you want to look at current pictures and be inspired because you're slimmer, stronger, tighter version of your old self. So you be the change. Thank you. Sorry, Chanel was having to do the time and then hot off the press.
All right, thank you, Joey, for all of that information. That was your speeches are always very practical and like chock full of really good info. So appreciate that.
Yeah.
Next up, we are going to do our table topics, and we have our. You're the district
33.
District 33 director.
33 director.
Division 33. I always get the division and the district mixed up.
You're not the first, you won't be the last.
I'm sure. So we have our Division 33 director here who is going to lead us in table topics today, and we're very excited to see what kind of questions he will come up with. So please welcome Michael.
Thank you. If I can ask you guys to allow me to share screen.
Yes, I will make you the host. Just give me 1 second. Okay, you should be able to share now.
All right, if I can have a volunteer, please, for table topics. Yes, I see Denny. All right, I'm going to share a picture here with you, and I would like you to act it out and share with us why we need to buy this item, because it is very important that we understand the eccentricness of these items. And I want you to share with us why we need to buy this charcuterie tray.
Michael, will you define charcuterie?
Charcuterie is basically a large plate of various foods, typically meats and cheeses. However, it has expanded over the years.
Wow. Well, first of all, I want to thank you very much, Michael, for providing the charcuterie tray to me. This is fantastic. I can see here that I would love to share this with the group because we've got food here that is healthy. It's in its original format. It looks like it's all been washed and it's ready to eat. I would love to have a pan with some butter and seasoning in it for that asparagus. And there's plenty of food here for all of us. I think we could even invite some guests. We could use this for our open house and draw in a crowd of people that are even, I think you've got something there for everyone. Vegetarians, of which we have several in our group, and meat eaters as well. And on top of that, I think this would be a great statement on behalf of our group that we appreciate healthy food, healthy living, because of course we do have members that are into both of those things. And we would attract more of the same members or more members that have those interests. In fact, in the past, we've even had members that gave pretty lengthy speeches on health and health eating, on vegetarian eating. And I would really enjoy hearing more of those speeches. So this is a great symbol, a great picture to put up, and a great tray to put out so that we could even put it on Facebook so that we attract new members that love all those colors. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me find the next item. And I am going to see who would like to be my next participant in table topics.
Heather.
Heather,
Yeah.
I would love you to act this out as well and share with us why we need to buy this item. Oh, hold on 1 second. My screen decided to post something else up instead, and that's not what I wanted. Let me see what happened. Okay, let me remove some of these items that it's wanting to put up. See what happened there. All right. Here is your item. Finger protectors from Cheesy Foods.
Oh boy. I believe that you should buy this item for various reasons. Number one, who likes cheesy, dusty fingers after eating a whole bag, let's face it, to ourselves, Cheetos, whether that be cheesy Cheetos, hot fries. There's so many things that you could use this finger protector for. But I definitely believe that Cheetos are number one because I hate when they stain my fingers afterwards, although it is finger looking good. It is a bit eccentric for my taste. However, I think if they have a variety of colors, say purple or black, I think I would be more inclined to buy it, as I'm sure everyone else can see how amazing this invention is. This is something that I think should be on Shark Tank if it has not already. I'm sure that, was it Lori would buy it maybe, or, you know, it's just something that I think everyone should have at least one pair of in their home. I can also see it being used for possibly sewing, you know, instead of having a thumb thimble, they can use one of those protectors. So there are various ways that I think that this could be used. And it's just really cool. It reminds me of the days of putting erasers and things on the tip of your fingers, kind of like olives as well, and your ET going home. So if anything, without, you know, just the practical use of it, you have the fun, eccentric use of it as well. Imagine all the different things you can creep your children out with. So I think that's why we should buy it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Heather. That was awesome. I believe we have time for maybe one more. Am I correct?
I think.
Sure.
Should be because we have one evaluator, so.
Okay, let's see. Who would like to be my last volunteer?
I'll go, Michael.
All right, let me pull up the next picture for you. And I would like you to tell us why we need to buy this item for our yard. A blow-up baby elephant.
Mm.
Oh, good grief. Okay, how many of us like going to the zoo? Yes, probably everybody does. The zoo is super fun. You get to see lots of animals that you wouldn't normally see in your regular day-to-day life. And one of the best things about going to the zoo is that you get to see the baby animals, because the babies are always the cutest, right? Baby elephants, baby hippos, baby giraffes that are like 6 feet tall when they're born. These are super fun things. However, you're not able to go to the zoo every day. And sometimes you might want to be able to see cute animals like that, even if you can't go to the zoo. That's why we have this lovely blow-up elephant that you can put in your yard. It makes kids happy because if you can't take your kids to the zoo, you can just walk out in your front yard and wow, look, it's a cute elephant. I bet Joey's kids would enjoy seeing that. I bet his daughter would love that. And it's something that the other kids in the neighborhood would probably also enjoy seeing. It's a conversation piece that people would want to talk about when they walk by and are able to see it. So there are multiple reasons I think that you could have this cute elephant in your yard, and you should consider it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chanel. To review, Denny shared with us about the charcuterie tray. Heather shared with us why we need to have finger protectors from all those dusty foods. And Chanel definitely tried to get us to buy that elephant.
Mm.
I don't know where you guys want to send your votes to. If you guys can let me know.
I don't think we're doing those, Michael.
We don't
Okay.
vote on topics.
Okay, sounds good. All right, I return the lectern back to you.
All right, thank you, Michael. I enjoyed that. That was a really fun, unique table topic idea, and I'm probably going to borrow that in the future. So watch out, everybody. All right, we are going to go into our speech evaluation now of Joey's speech. Let's see. Okay, Joey, as I mentioned before, I really appreciated all of the information that you packed into your speech. You, in this case, and in the cases of the other speeches that I've heard, you don't give speeches that are watered down or flowery. You put a lot of meat into there. I think that this was a really good topic because, for one, you're very credible because you are a personal trainer, and it's also something that you have a lot of experience in. And I think that the confidence that came from your experience really came out in your speech, in the sense of you knew what you were talking about, you knew where you were going next, and it was something that you didn't have to think about a lot because it was already so internalized, just the wisdom that's come from your experience. I think that your organization was good as far as having a list of things and tracking with that as you went through your speech. The areas for growth, I think that you've been in Toastmasters a long time, and like all of us, we all kind of have our own unique speaking style, which is fine because one speaker is never going to be exactly like another speaker. Like, everybody's different. I think that you've found your niche as far as speaking goes and being able to deliver a lot of good information in a small amount of time. If you are interested in the future and wanting to branch out, possibly stylistically, or just stretch yourself, I think some things you could work on would be adding a bit more flair to your speeches, which may not be something that you're interested in. So things like using more pauses, vocal intonation, you tend to be pretty, I don't want to say monotone, but pretty steady when you speak. Things like adding maybe a variety of energy into the speech. I would have a lot of fun seeing you attempting to give a speech like that and just bringing in some things that maybe aren't so much your personality naturally, but just practicing adding some of that in. So that would be a challenge if you want to work on that moving forward. But outside of that, I think that the information was really good. You had good statistics. I think that was one good option for a way to start the speech. Another thought that I had in addressing this topic of weight gain, which is something that everybody can relate to probably. I think that with some people, there could be a certain amount of cynicism just in hearing that topic preached, especially if weight is something that they've struggled with. So briefly addressing maybe people's immediate cynicism or at the beginning, just saying something to the effect of, like, I know that some of you, might be skeptical and feel like you've heard everything that there is to hear on this topic, but this is why what I'm going to tell you is different. That could be helpful, possibly in helping people to really hone in and listen better. So those were the thoughts that I had, but good job overall. Thanks for being willing to speak to me.
Thank you.
Okay. And I will pass the podium back over to Denny at this point to introduce the evaluation team.
Thanks, Chanel. Now it's time for our evaluations. Thank you, everybody, for your participation today. This is great. First, we're going to do our timer report, and then Chanel.
Thank you. Joey, your speech was at about 13 minutes. I was not on point with the timer because I volunteered to be timer and then remembered that I didn't have a clock because my phone is over there. But I looked at your phone, so it was about 13 minutes. So a little bit over the 8 to 10. That's okay. And then for the two people besides myself who did table topics, Denny and Heather, I'm not sure on the exact time, but you were somewhere between 1.5 minutes and 2 minutes. So you were right in the allotted time frame. I did not time myself on my table topics or evaluation. I don't know. Thank you.
No. I'm gonna give you, I'm gonna give you all of your uhs, everybody.
Hey.
Michael, you didn't have anything wrong today. We're gonna give you a pass today. Chanel, I'm gonna get you today. We had a few words. Like, and so, they were all in there, and I'm not gonna say how many. But the one I really want you to work on is there's a little tisk in there. That's the one. Without the tisk, I don't even notice anything else. Joey, you had so and something like that in there. And I'm gonna say something like that was a crutch word the way you used it, but you did a good job. Heather, you have improved so much. There's still a in there to work on. That's my report. Our last one is our grammarian report, and that's Heather.
Thank you so much. I heard only myself and Michael use the word for the day. Did anybody else use eccentric without me catching it?
Joey says he used it.
I'm sorry, that just totally went over my head. So it was the three of us, Michael, Joey, and myself, and it was a bit of an eccentric word for an eccentric day. So thank you for playing, and hopefully we can get more people to use the word of the day next week. And that's my report.
Very good. And I'm going to turn this back over to our president, Joey. So he can
Thank you, Miss Denny. All right, great. We're going to be hopefully ending on time here. I got to really cut down because I took way too much during my speech. So let's go any kind of, we do rewards. Well, we got to say our people that took up roles that they didn't know that they had. So Heather, great work on picking up grammarian, doing that. Denny, odd counter, Chanel, timer, and then we had Michael picking up the table topic. So great work on picking up roles that you didn't even know you had. And I think everybody did a great job with what they did there. Let's take a look at next week's agenda. So if you got the paper version, you can flip it over. If you got the online version, you scroll down. So next week we have July 19th, Dreaming Big is the meeting theme. Can we grab at least the big, well, first, do we have any speakers that are here today that wanted to speak, that want to do a speech? Denny?
It's probably time.
Ah, there we go, Denny. I knew me getting up here and just giving it might have spurred some people. So I'll put Denny in there.
And this will be location, right?
This will be what?
At our new location.
This will be at the new location. Are you going to be there in person?
That's the plan right now.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Denny. And then let's pick up our big ones, Toastmaster, Genuine Evaluator, and table topics if we can. I could probably take over Toastmaster.
I'll do table topics.
Okay, Heather.
I can evaluate any speech.
Okay, Chanel. And then General Evaluator. Denny did that already. Unless Denny, you want to do, oh, you're speaking. Never mind. Maybe I'll email that out so we can get some people into those roles. If not, we can always fill in those smaller ones as we go. Maybe we'll do that. Sound like a plan?
Yes.
Okie dokie. So any questions, comments, or criticisms from our normal peanut gallery or new one, Michael, to the peanut gallery?
Super quick. Your area director will be Michael Rankin. He will be starting to come out to clubs in the near future. I know he's got a lot going on personally, so hopefully he'll start being able to get out by August and visiting clubs, whether that's virtually or in person. We also have the area directors, or sorry, not the area directors, the club officers training on August 6th, and I'm doing a division training. And it looks like you guys may not need this one, but you're more than welcome to attend. Any officer, any member is more than welcome. It's going to be the Saturday before that, which is July 30th, and it's going to be a 9 to 11 a.m. training, and it's going to be on creating agendas. If you guys need help with that, or you guys get stuck, this is a great way to get more information on how to fix those agendas.
Okay. Thank you, Michael, and thank you again for swearing us new officers or old new officers in today. I appreciate you taking the time and also picking up a role as you were here. You probably just wanted to sit by, be a fly on the wall, and that's not what happens here at Fresno City.
Nope.
Master, should I say? So thank you, Michael. Any other comments, questions, criticisms?
One question, Michael, what's the best way to reach you?
My phone number is 559-931-5618.
Very
My
good.
email is long, so it's easy to text me there, and I can shoot your email in that, and I can send you an email about anything.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gents. Well, thanks again for putting together a good meeting. And oftentimes it's a small meeting, but we make it a mighty meeting. So way to go. And have a great rest of the week. Stay as cool as you can because it is hot out there. All right, everyone. Take care.